Hello and welcome to Rauta. Today we have here a Finnish black metal band, which is not one of those bands who said, hey, this one needs no introduction. Instead, actually, Ordinance really deserves and needs sort of an introduction because it's kind of a side project, kind of a main band for this main guy, Arttu, who is also part of so many other bands, but this is, I guess, his own child, so to speak. But Ordinance has never been too active a band. I mean, in the past 13 years or so, that is when the first demo was released, the band has put only 2 albums, this one being the second one on 2020. Now, what makes it interesting even more is that Arttu is the main guy of the band. The other part of the band, that is the drummer, has changed between the albums. So even though the band is not very active, even still, or maybe because of that, the lineup actually keeps kind of shifting and changing. And as such, I guess that results in a little bit different outcome given all these years and lineup changes, because we all know that even though one guy could be the mastermind, the big brain behind all that and one project, different dynamics always change the thing. Now, what I would like to say about this band, especially with the second album, is that this is something I would like to consider the new wave of Finnish black metal. It's a bold statement, yes, I know, and I'm aware of that, and I know that very many people will disagree. It's all totally fine. Opinions are worth disagreeing and agreeing. But what makes this interesting is that while it has certain kind of elements that you're very, very much used to, with so many other black metal bands, it's also something which I would call strong seasoning. You know, like a lot of spices that actually makes this stand out from the rest. You know, the regular Joe thing. I mean, since the 90s, so many bands have been repeating those same patterns all over again for 30 years. But Ordinance is one of those guys or bands. This LP version looks really, really nice. Feels great with its cardboard and doesn't even feature the typical black and white or black, red, white thing which we so often have here. Inside, nothing else. But what we have here is this lyric sheet, which on the other side has these guys. Kind of a cool photo if you ask me. No goofiness, no mysticism, yet still a little bit distant, figuratively speaking, that is. And here we have lyrics which are not that readable, I guess. I mean, if you really zoom, then it becomes readable, but like that, not so much. And here it is mentioned that this all music and lyrics by Ordinance, recorded and mixed by Lauri Laaksonen, who is actually the drummer, also man behind a couple of bands like Desert Shrine and Convocation. Then we have here mastered by H. Sorvali, who is actually the Moonsorrow mastermind. So a lot of talents with this involved with the project, and I guess that's why this album manages to sound so goddamn nice. Inside we obviously have this very, very traditional, basic black vinyl. As you can see, already some dust being collected, even though I just gave it a few spins before putting back it into the sleeve. Let's take a look at the band's metal side while I'll tell you a little bit more what I mean. This new wave of Finnish black metal. Here you can see once again this lineup information, also the very short discography, and then this one being in Purge, There Is No Remission is here with its almost 50 minutes of music. Now, it's interesting to hear a release which features riffs and ideas which then again are strong, reminiscent material for so many other bands. For example, at some points I was very, very sure that now this part has been taken from Inquisition, the American band. And on the other riffs I was like, okay, this is so Dark Throne is that A Blaze in the Northern Sky would like to want it have back. But all those other riffs, I mean, in general, this is kind of a blending and flirting with the kind of 1990s black metal, early 2000s black metal, and then again also some modern touching. And by modern, I don't mean any kind of a metalcore, deathcore kind of a equivalent to black metal, but I mean so many of those Icelandic bands which have this kind of a dissonant feeling with the music, which I often refer as the third wave of black metal. So in my opinion, Ordinance is actually blending these different elements into one, which then again makes it very, very interesting, because not only it's taking ideas and elements from different decades of the past, it's also, taking a look into the future, and as such could be a spearhead to what lies ahead in the next decade, that is of 2011 and like. And not 2011, what the hell I'm saying, 2021 I mean. Anyway, now that you get caught me talking right out of my buttocks, anyway, let's continue with the album. So what it makes so interesting is that you don't get to feel like, okay, this is too much just repeating the old school patterns. And this is not just, being one of those weird one-card, avant-garde kind of a bands that are maybe a future classic, but having these kind of like traveling through times and then just putting it in an order that everything actually makes sense. Now, the production of the album is not the most strongest out there. It's not the most clear out there, but that actually makes it fascinating, because it's not really raw, it's not really clean and nice, but somewhere in the middle. And there, my friends, actually lies the magic, because with this kind of production, you actually really nail it what it is. It's just very far away from being those big label signature sound, like people say, hey, this is so Century Media, this is so Nuclear Blast or whatever. Now, this is not lo-fi exactly, but it's not this kind of very polished modern sound. So everything here kind of escapes those typical nails which you have nailed on the coffin. Like, it's just a studging, like, hey, I'm gonna shoot the deer. Fuck, it just got away. And that makes this beautiful. It's like the deer that got away, and as such define the story of this survival myth. So, I am the deer that got away, and I am here to define how the future, how the new wave of this Finnish black metal could really sound. That is, if they are not leaning so much towards the 1990s or even 1980s. I don't know what else to say. It's a really good album. It could be always a little bit better, but I still think this could be one of those future classics. With these words said, I think you ought to really check it out, so click that Bandcamp link provided and listen for yourself. Am I wrong or am I right? You decide. Take care, my friends, and see you soon with more reviews coming your way.